This video is the toolkit for everything you need to learn to trim your horse yourself. Starting off with education, I can't stress enough that it is just unethical to pick up a hoof and start trimming it without education. Ideally, you have a barefoot trimmer who is amazing and super excited to teach you. If you're looking to trim your own horse, chances are you might not have that. So the online courses or the workshops that I can co-sign, because I've been through them, are the Hoofling Marvelous, the Phoenix Way. You're going to be into it for about $500 for either the online course, or they do 3-day workshops all over the world. If you want to feel really good about it, I highly suggest doing both, but you're also going to be into it about $400-ish for tools, depending on what you buy. And I'm going to kind of go through this video and talk about where it's totally fine to cut corners as a layman and where you probably don't want to, and some alternatives and that kind of stuff. So, if you have the disposable income to just go for all the best stuff, that's amazing. And I'm going to tell you what that is in this video. But if you're like, I really need to put my money into the investment and do the best I can with the equipment, we're going to talk about that too. A $3 set of gloves from the garden supply store. These will save your knuckles. You will rasp your knuckles, and if you think cheese grating your knuckles is bad, the rasp is way worse. So get yourself a set of these, and don't forget to wear them. This is your standard $7 grill brush with the metal end sawed off so that it doesn't have like a horrifying metal blade on it. This is really important because getting the hoof really clean allows you to see what you're doing. As you're learning, you really need to see what you're doing. Don't skip this one. This is my friend's. I have this hysterically tiny one. It's very frustrating to use. I steal my friend's all the time. I need to get my own. Get a big one. Next up, standard hoof knife. A couple bucks at the store. You definitely already have one, so that's good. Standard hoof pick. Then we're talking hoof knives. I have two. I bought the first one used. This is a loop knife. This is the easiest for the beginners. Both of mine are Hastings brand. They're very middle of the road, like cheap end, middle of the road brand. You don't need really high end knives or nippers because you're not going to use them that much. It's more important that you know how to sharpen them than you buy really nice ones. I use this one 99% of the time. This is a right-handed standard hoof knife. Only has a blade on one side. Kind of dangerous as you're learning to have the kind that has blade on two sides, because if you slip, you can cut yourself or your horse. So if you can only buy one, get the loop knife. It's going to be the easiest to learn on. These are bonsai tree clippers. They are YOUIU brand, or VOUIU maybe. These are really great if you're in a really dry climate. For us, it doesn't rain from May to October. The bars and the sole on our hooves are ridiculously hard that time of year. Very difficult to trim with a knife. So I use these to trim bars and get out dead sole. They're really sharp. They're way easier to work with one hand than a full set of nippers. These are cheap. They're like 20 bucks. So highly recommend having these in your arsenal. Gotta have a rasp and handle. This is a Heller rasp. It's a really good rasp. It's about $37, really middle of the road. You don't want to buy the cheapest rasp on the market because it's just the big side is way too big. The little side is way too little. And they're really, really hard to work with. And you're going to be like, I'm horrible at this. I can't get it down. Why is this so hard? It's not you, it's your rasp. You want a nice, like middle of the road price range rasp. I've had this rasp for a year. I should probably replace it, but it's lasted me beautifully. It works really well. And rasps don't come with a handle. Please never ever let me see you rasping without a handle. A horse jams into you, you jam into a horse, shit hits the fan. That rasp goes through you or your horse, that handle. It's very pointy underneath this handle. So you buy a handle one time. Rasps, they last you as a layman about a year. As a pro, you go through them much faster, but you take the handle off, you get rid of the rasp, you keep the handle. So that's two different items. You need them both. If you want the very, very, very best nippers on the market, those are considered the GT nippers. They're about 350 bucks. I got these for 40 bucks from the bad Amazon place. But you can get them for 40 bucks all over the internet. Because I am not trimming. MJ, are you really pooping right now? So back to my nippers. I've had these cheap, crappy nippers for at least 2 years. We're going on 3 years. They're still very sharp because when you trim your own horse, I don't really have like trim days. MJ's not on a cycle. I see something that needs to be addressed and I pull out my rasp and I rasp it. So I hardly ever use these unless I like go on vacation or I get sick or something happens where I get way off. But one of the beautiful parts of being able to trim your own horse is you don't have to wait 6 weeks. And so you use your rasp all the time, multiple times a week. You hardly ever use your nippers. So you can definitely go cheap on these if you're having trouble making the financial leap to invest in all this equipment. The last thing that you need is something to protect your femoral artery from a knife slip. And also something with lots of pockets. So farrier's traps would be the thing that most people use. But farrier's traps are also for protecting you from sparks and heat and that kind of stuff. So if you're just going to be barefoot trimming, I will get a pair of farrier's traps for the summer once I'm doing it for lots of horses, but I like to wear my Carhartt overalls because they have so many pockets. They're reinforced, so I'm pretty protected in these. You can see how dirty they are from holding hooves. They have lots of pockets, so if I'm working on a horse that's having trouble holding its foot up, stay really focused on the horse and the work that I'm doing and not wondering where my tools are and trying to access them, and I have the protection that I need. The last thing and most expensive thing is your stand. You want a safe stand. This stand, if a horse steps on it and it turns over, anything happens, it's all round, there's no sharp edges. No horse is going to hurt themselves dangerously on this. They might get a bonk. That's really important to me in stands. There are some stands out there that are all metal, that hold your tools, that look very fancy. I do not allow those stands to go under my horse because if she were to slip off and slam, I'll just slice. There's not enough soft tissue in the lower leg of a horse to take that risk. You will have a sliced tendon. So this is about $250 shipped. This is the medium size. They have a big one, a regular one for horses. This is for horses that are arthritic or have mobility problems. It's a little smaller, and they also have a mini one. You don't have to have a stand to trim. It's way easier to learn with proper equipment. But I'm about to show you a replacement for a stand that will work. This is a tire chalk. You probably already own one if you have a horse trailer. If not, any hardware store, you can get them for, I don't know, 10, 15 bucks or something, I think. It's all rubber. It has a bolt that can easily be removed. I will show you on MJ how I have used it before in a pinch for a stand. A little harder to learn this way, but doable if you're willing to work with your horse. Be patient with yourself. You will have to train the horse to go between your legs when they're coming up behind you if you're going to do it this way. And then the point of your stand becomes being able to get the hoof up so that your rasp can clear it when you're putting on your bevel. So I'm going to say, hey love, can I have this foot? She's readjusting. There we go. And now I put her foot on there, I put my foot there. This is obviously more dangerous. She could slam into me. It's better to have a rasp. But if you trust your horse, this is doable. My rasp will clear this hoof. No problem. I can do everything I can do here without a stand. It will be easier to learn with a stand. This will work in a pinch. That is the layman's guide to everything you need to be able to trim your horse. Trimming your own horse is the most incredibly bonding thing. We are closer and more connected because of all of the control that I have over her care. I am fully her person. So if you want to take this journey, I can't recommend it high enough. It has been so positive and wonderful for us.